Howdy partners! Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex. You're here at the Farm D Reads, and today I'm going to rant and rave very quickly about my least favorite books of the year, which I have not been quiet about. I started my channel about a month ago now, and I have a little over 100 subscribers, which is absolutely mind-blowing and amazing and incredible to me that I'm already like making friendships and meeting new people and just interacting on a level that I didn't realize was possible just from Bookstagram. So I just want to say thank you for whoever is watching and liking and commenting and interacting with me. It's really fun and it's really exciting, and I'm looking forward to making more videos in 2024. That was a complete side note. I want to talk about the books that I didn't like. I took a look back at my entire 2023. I went all the way back to the beginning of my Goodreads challenge, and I have picked about 10 books that I just think were absolute garbage. And I'm really excited to tell you what I think about them. So let's get to it. Firstly, I want to talk about Iron Flame because I think it's just going to be the most controversial. Even though a lot of people don't like this, I feel like it's 50-50. You either absolutely simped over it or you thought it was not that good. And I am of the school that it's not that good. It's actually very bad. The romance is childish. Violet is childish. Xaden is almost non-existent in it. The writing is bad. It felt rushed. It felt like Rebecca Yarros wanted to capitalize on the popularity that Fourth Wing got. And this needed, I think, another year or so of cutting down. I mean, so much of it was not necessary. And then there would be, if you watch my video where I did rant about this, I think it was my November wrap up, I found that so many details were just shoved into one sentence and then not expanded upon. And those were details that we needed expansion. And then you would have like 4 chapters in a row that we didn't need it. We didn't need it. Nobody cared. I didn't care. I just don't care. It's huge. It's like 600 and something pages, but the font is so tiny. Yeah, I don't want to continue trashing this because that's not what I'm here for. But I strongly believe that if you create this, huge fan base and you blow this book up and then you continue the story in this fashion, it's like, I don't care. I probably won't continue this. I was disappointed. I really liked Fourth Wing and I really wanted to like this. I just unfortunately didn't. So we'll see if I even keep them on my shelves. I haven't decided because I have, of course, all the special editions now. So the next book that is on my absolute worst reads of 2023 is The Housemade Secret by Frida McFadden. And I want to preface this by saying I absolutely loved the first book. The Housemaid, or whatever it was called, was so good. And what's her name? Millie was super badass in the first one, and then in this one, she is just constantly whining about something, whether it's her relationship or the job or her little side thing that she does. Like, she just came off very whiny in this one. And then I thought that the twist was so bad. It was so bad. Like, and it was really sad that the real husband got shafted like that, you know? I don't know. It just wasn't, it didn't hit as good as the first one did. And there is a third one coming out, I believe, in 2024. And if you think I'm not gonna read it, you cray, because I am still gonna read it. But for the record, I gave book 1 like 4 or 5 stars, and I gave The Housemade Secret 2 stars. I did not like it at all, but I am going to read the third book because I need to know what happens to Millie and if it gets better. Continuing on, we have The Perfect Child by Lucinda Berry. I don't know why anyone likes this author. I don't know what the appeal is. I don't think the writing was that good in this, and the story did have me in the first, I would say like 50 to 75%. And then the ending, if you want to call it that, nothing happens. So The Perfect Child follows a couple, I think one of them's a doctor or something, and they don't have any children and they've always wanted them. A situation comes up where they have the opportunity to adopt a girl that I think the husband is the doctor. He has been taken care of. She came in abused, and he forms this like really special bond with her. Child gets home. The wife, who I think's name is Hannah. Yeah, the wife's name is Hannah, and the child is not the perfect child. She starts doing the absolute most disturbing, messed up things to mess with Hannah, to almost like get her out of the picture so she can have Christopher, the father, all to herself. It was interesting, and it did have me up until the end. Spoiler alert, there's no ending. It literally ends with the main character. Like, I looked behind the curtains to see what was going on because the cops had shown up and like there was gonna be something else major that happened. No, the book ends there. It's done. You don't know what was behind the curtain. You don't know what happens to anybody. You don't know what happens to the couple, if they stay together, if the child gets like you don't know anything. Nothing gets resolved. And I am not the type of person that enjoys books that have cliffhangers or movies that the ending is like left up to your interpretation. For example, the movie Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio, I hate. I have only seen it one time when it came out in the movies many years ago, and I'm never gonna watch it again because I think about that spinning top at the end, and I think it's because it gives me anxiety, like creepy crawlies about the fear of the unknown, perhaps. I like things to have a solid beginning, a solid middle, and a very solid end. A book needs a solid ending, and this didn't have an ending at all. There are some reviews on Goodreads giving this 5 stars, talking about what a disturbing masterpiece of like crime fiction it is, and I would like those people, if you're watching this, if you gave The Perfect Job I Listened to Barry 5 stars, I would like you to call me, beat me if you want to reach me. This book sucked. We're moving on to the next one. The next book that I want to talk about on the list of the worst books of 2023 is The House at the End of the World by Dean Koontz. If any of you have watched any of my previous videos, you know that I am absolutely in my dad thriller era, and I don't know why. They're very mindless, they're very fun, they're really easy and quick to listen to on audio, especially while I'm at work or driving. So I wanted to give this author a try because he has like 8 million books, and this one sounded really interesting. This book was very sci-fi, like government conspiracy type of a dad thriller, and I almost enjoyed it. The problem that I had with it is it read very much like the author Dean Koontz, and I haven't done any research, so please don't attack me anywhere. Educate me if you know better. It came off very like right-wing and a lot of talk about like Trump and things that I don't really care about. I feel that if you're in your dad thriller era and you're reading dad thrillers, you're gonna come across that type of talk and behavior. It's just not for me, and like no issue with anyone else or your beliefs or what my beliefs are. It doesn't matter. It's just, we're just talking about books, and I didn't like the content in this one, so I wasn't a fan. I think I gave it like 2 or 3 stars. The sci-fi portion of it was really fun, and I think that the plot of there being this, factory, that this illegal government building that's producing, like a biochemical warfare type of a thing, and it gets released on this island, and now we have someone that has to try to contain it. That was so fun for me. It was the language, and it was like the heavy emphasis on like modern day politics that I didn't particularly care for, so I don't know if I'll continue reading Dean Koontz. If you know anything about any of his books, or you have, some information that I clearly don't have, please let me know in the comments respectfully, because I'd like to learn, I'd like to know. But yeah, this wasn't for me, and I don't think this author is particularly for me. So on to the next. I actually have this worst books of 2023 in my hand to talk about. This is Dead 11 by Jimmy Giuliano, and I have ranted about this before, probably a couple of times. This is a debut from this author. It's touted as a very creepy, atmospheric 90s horror that takes place on an island where everyone acts like it's the same day in 1994 when O.J. Simpson goes on his white Ford Bronco chase, which I think is so fun because like these are things that we remember. Like I remember being born in 1992. Boom, she's never gonna forget that. And I thought that was really fun. Unfortunately, this is a 400 and something page slog. Nothing happens. I could not possibly have given less of a shit about the main characters. Our main characters are a man named Harper, so he's the brother, trying to find what happened to his sister Willow, who initially went to the island to figure out what happened to her deceased son. Like, her son is dead. She finds the name of the island like written under a rug in his room and goes to try to figure out what happened to him. And we also have a POV of a high schooler that lives and has grown up on the island, so we get a perspective of someone that knows what all the secrets are. I like my horror or my mystery or my thriller to be solvable. Like, I don't really care if I figure out what the twist is or whatever, but I like a little bit, well, I like a lot of tension. This had absolutely none. The POV of Hannah, I believe her name was, I don't remember, it doesn't matter. The high schooler, she gives you everything. She spoon feeds you everything. She tells you what's happening on the island. You find out what the mystery is pretty early on, and it ends up being more of a book about family relationships and self-discovery and like forging your own path than being a horror book. And I'm sorry, R.L. Stine said it was creepy, and that's a lie. It's not at all. I don't know if I'll continue on with this author, and I find that really unfortunate because this cover is absolutely incredible. It's so good. I'm gonna donate this. I literally had to pull it out of my donate pile to do this video. I don't think I'm gonna keep it, and I don't think I'm gonna read any more from this author. I gave this 2 stars. Dead 11 by Jimmy Giuliano. I didn't like it. One of the worst books I read in 2023. The next book that I consider one of the worst I read in 2023 is Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. I wanted to like this so much. It has a very, very cute cover with really nice red sprayed edges that I got from Barnes & Noble. It's a nice floppy paperback. This is touted as a cross between like a fairy tale and an adult romantic fantasy. It is the most YA thing I think I read all year, and I cannot stress enough, I specifically almost avoid reading YA. It's not really my jam. I didn't like anything about this. The characters were not funny. In fact, their jokes were cringy. The love interest was lame. Like he didn't come off as like a tough guy at all. It's weird to say that because there's a lot of scenes where our main character, the assistant to the villain, Evie, will like walk in and there's, you know, rotting corpses hanging from the ceiling, or there's severed heads like stuck to a spike. This author, I think, is too new to maybe like the genre that she's trying to create. It's almost like she's trying to create her own genre, because this is very fairy tale vibes. It doesn't give me fantasy. It doesn't give me fiction. I don't know if it's YA. I don't know if it's adult. It just doesn't. It's a book with a really good idea and a really fun plot that doesn't know where it's going and it doesn't know what it's doing. There's supposed to be 2 more books in this series. It did end on a cliffhanger. It wasn't a good cliffhanger. In the end, I don't know. I just didn't like anything about it. So this is getting donated. I believe I also gave this 2 stars, and I definitely don't think I'll be continuing on in the series. So goodbye. She's gone. Back to the donate pile. Obviously, I'm gonna pick that up. That was inconsiderate of me. Sorry, Dan. Daddy's right here. Hey. It's just a big baby girl. What was your favorite book of 2023? No? Okay. The next book that I want to talk about is probably also going to be a controversial opinion, but it is Rouge by Mona Awad. I know a lot of people absolutely love her writing, and I thought I did too. I read Bunny at the beginning of the year, and it was so insane. I don't know what happened, but it was really fun, and her writing is very lyrical. It's very captivating. It's very atmospheric and gothic and suspenseful. I think the issue that I had with Rouge was the subject material. Rouge follows a young woman that is grappling with her mother's recent death, and at the same time kind of falling victim to this beauty cult that potentially her mom also was involved in, which makes her death a little bit more suspicious. It was not scary at all. It was actually, I thought, so boring. I listened to it on audio and it just went on and on and on forever. The accents in the audiobook were a little obnoxious. And I just don't really care to read about like mother-daughter relationships, which I didn't realize that was gonna like heavily be what this book was about. So I don't know if I'll keep reading Mona Awad. I know a lot of people have really liked this, but I just thought it was boring, and I don't know. Whatever. 2 stars for this. I don't know if I'll keep reading Mona Awad. We'll see. We'll see. The next book that I want to talk about is The Good Lie by A.R. Torre. I read this on my Kindle, I think, last weekend, and it had me for like the first 30 to 40%, and then it became very clear. The writing is just so bad. It's not good writing. So this book follows our main character, Dr. Gwen, who's a psychiatrist whose specialty is dealing with people who have really obsessive, aggressive thoughts of murder and harming people and things like that. She ends up becoming involved with a defense attorney named Robert, who is representing the man that potentially killed his son, the Bloody Heart Killer. And we know this because there's a POV of the most recent victim who escapes. Through all these different POVs and storylines, it comes out, obviously, predictably, Gwen and the lawyer become romantically involved, and there's like a weird emphasis on their romance when this is supposed to be a crime thriller. And the ending is very predictable. The reasoning behind why everything kind of happens involving the high schooler and his like weird relationship with the older woman. The writing was not good. I don't think I'll read any more from this author either. I feel like I'm saying that for all of these authors, and it's kind of giving me a feeling that I should do like a second chance thing. Maybe I'll do a video of that in 2024, but for now I can confidently say that I won't be reading any more from this author. I did not like anything about this, which is unfortunate because I love a good crime thriller. There was just too much emphasis on the romance. So yeah, I gave this 2 stars. We'll see what 2024 brings if I'm gonna read any more from this author, but for now it's gonna be a no for me, dog. The next book that's on this list is actually very disappointing for me to talk about, and it's because I really like this author, and that is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. The reason that I'm disappointed is I started with Leigh Bardugo by reading Ninth House, which is her debut adult fantasy series, while Shadow and Bone and her previous other duologies like in the Grishaverse are YA. I'm done talking about what how I feel about YA, but like I'm trying, okay? I read the first book because I kind of wanted to watch the Netflix show because Ben Barnes, okay? And I wanted to watch it. I did not like this. It was very YA, I thought, compared to other fantasies that I've been reading, even if they are YA fantasies. It just didn't interest me. The characters I didn't find very compelling. I thought like the dark romance part of it was creepy and weird, and I didn't like it because I really feel strongly that the actor that they picked for the show and then the actress who I think is like the main character love interest, I already forgot their names. I don't know, Ben Barnes just seems so much older than her, and it gives that vibe, like almost like an age gap. I don't know, I got this like weird YA age gap feeling from this that I didn't enjoy. It gave me the creepy crawlies. So I read the first book. I don't think I'll be continuing on with the trilogy or the Grishaverse, but I absolutely loved Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Hellbent is on my January TBR for sure, and she has another release I think coming out that's going to be an adult vampire romance fantasy, and I am super excited for that to come out. That's actually one of my most anticipated 2024 reads. So Leigh Bardugo, yes. Shadow and Bone, oh thank you. The next book that I want to talk about is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston, and I read this with my book club from Bookstagram at the beginning of the year, and I was really excited for this. I love anything that crosses romance with something supernatural, and this follows a woman that basically starts seeing, literally and figuratively, a man that is a ghost, and she has to figure out what happened to him to try and get his soul to rest, but they end up kind of falling in love. And I love that idea. I think it's so cute, but unfortunately I didn't care for this author's romance writing. There's nothing wrong with it. It was well written. I don't know, there was something about it I just wasn't vibing with. I also was not connecting with the characters at all. I read this at the beginning of the year, so I don't remember like their names or exactly what the plot is. I thought that the ending was fine. It reminds me of a movie Just Like Heaven with Reese Witherspoon and Mark Ruffalo, which I highly recommend. If you enjoyed this book, you're gonna like that movie. I did not like this book, and I thought about picking up The 7-Year Slip by her because a lot of my friends on Bookstagram are ranting and raving, but I don't know, I think I gave this like 2 or 3 stars. It just didn't really do it for me. If you've read The 7-Year Slip and you enjoyed it, potentially maybe even more than you enjoyed The Dead Romantics, let me know in the comments, because this author I would also be willing to give a second try to. But Dead Romantics, didn't like it, 3 stars. It's on the list. The last book that I want to talk about on my list of the worst books of 2023 is A Twisted Love Story by Samantha Downing, and I am very disappointed to be talking about this book. I'm including it on this list because this author, she is an auto-buy author for me. All of her books have been fantastic. Well, okay. All of her books, but one before this, I have absolutely loved. The Perfect Wife was really good. For Your Own Good was really, really good. He Started It was not my favorite, and then this one has been my least favorite. I originally gave this 3 stars, but now thinking about it and how boring it was, I think I'm gonna give it 2 stars. This follows a couple that is absolutely dysfunctional. Just red flag, red flag, red flag, just horrible, horrible, horrible to each other. They're not physically abusive, but they play mind games, they lie to each other, they lie for each other, they literally commit crimes with each other and then try to blame the other one. Like, it's almost like too much dysfunction, because I think it's supposed to almost be like satire about, how many times you hear that people stay in these relationships that are, unhealthy and toxic. And then this is trying to turn that into a thriller, but there was nothing thrilling about it. The mystery part of it was boring as shit. It was predictable. There was no resolution at the end. And I also don't think that the characters deserved, spoiler, if they get a happy ending. And I don't think they deserved that. They were, oh my God, they were horrible, 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 horrible people. Horrible to each other, horrible to those around them. They would have deserved anything they got. And instead, they got away with everything and got to like ride off into the sunset. Samantha is killing me a little bit. I absolutely have loved some of her other books though, so I will definitely continue on. But yeah, this one might go in my donate pile. I was very disappointed. And it's not badly written. It was just for being an author that I really, really enjoy and expecting something more from this beautiful, beautiful cover as well. It was the disappointment that got this on the list. And with that, we've come to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give me a like. If you want to watch more of my videos, please do so. I will put some up at the end. If you want to subscribe and continue along this YouTube booktube journey with me, I would also love that. If you made it to the end, I also want to apologize for how rushed and chaotic and insane and the shadows and the hands and the crazy lighting. I just got off of work and I had to get this done and talk about my worst reads of the year, get it edited, get it posted for you guys. So thank you for sticking around if you did till the end. I will see you in the next one. Good night.